guys, welcome back to another mukbang video.
Welcome back. We have a delicious meal today.
As if all our meals aren't delicious.
That's very true. They're all wonderful.
What's in here?
All right, we have an Indian kind of inspired dish. So it's lentils, okra, cauliflower, and some potato as well.
Yeah, tomatoes.
With tomatoes and a heap of different herbs and spices.
Like curry powder and turmeric, I imagine?
Yep, lots of different Indian spices. We've got some coriander or cilantro there on the top, some brown rice.
And we're also going to top it with some golden flaxseed meal and coconut yogurt.
Yeah, because it's a little spicy, so the vegan coconut yogurt's just going to take the edge off. I'm going to get that now.
I'm going to get the flaxseed meal. So we didn't add these beforehand because the flaxseed meal, once you cover everything with it, you can't see the dish properly, and we wanted to show you guys what it looked like before this. And the coconut yogurt, if we put that on, it melts straight away because the dish is hot. So
good?
Yeah.
What are you guys eating? Make sure you pause the video and grab a vegan meal, sit down and join us.
And let us know in the comments below so that we can share recipe and meal ideas. Speaking of recipes, anything to mention about this recipe?
Oh yes, we are working on updating our recipe ebook, and this recipe is going to be in it, so it's coming soon.
If you've recently just bought the ebook, like a lot of people have, don't worry, you'll be getting a copy of the updated version.
Yes. Alright.
I'm going to go pop this away.
Put that in the fridge.
Yeah. Yeah, keep flaxseed meal in an airtight container in the refrigerator. How's it?
Lovely. Now this was a bit of a cheat meal actually because...
Sorry, can I interject and just say, that tip is because when flax seeds are ground, that's what releases the oil, and that's where the omega-3s are absorbed. But they go rancid in the heat and with exposure to air. So that's why you're keeping them in the container, airtight, in the fridge. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're a world of knowledge, aren't you?
She's teasing me, guys.
Oh no, it's already started. We're only a few minutes in.
I know.
Yeah, so we actually, a bit of a cheat meal. We made this yesterday to take some nice photos for the recipe ebook.
Yep.
And then we're like, oh, we'll just make double, a big batch, so that it is ready to go for today's mukbang. And you know what? It always tastes so much better the day after. Aren't leftovers so tasty?
Yeah, because they've been sitting in their own juices for 24 hours or whatever. Marinating.
It's good.
Yum. It was good yesterday, it's even better today.
Yeah, definitely. Yum.
Normally, actually for the last few months we've been eating tri-coloured rice. So a mix of red, black and brown rice, which has an overall reddish colour, doesn't it? And this is just plain brown rice, different to the brown rice that was in the tri-coloured mix.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, it looks white, but it is brown. Well, so many different varieties, aren't there?
There are.
Some that look real brown and some that look more white.
And it always makes your plate look different, you know, the colours. And we could write a whole book on rice, couldn't we?
We could. We could. That's really good.
Alright, we've had a few bites. You ready to get on with it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, by the way, you've got that.
Oh, yes. Rice. Yeah. Little leftover rice from yesterday.
Okay.
So here's the deal, guys. We just recorded.
If you're wondering why our plates are half empty and we've only just started.
Basically, we were planning to make an informal response video. And we recorded for over 20 minutes. And that's why we've eaten so much. But we weren't happy with the quality, were we?
No, we weren't. Sometimes some videos that you're responding to really need to be scripted. You need to sit down and articulate yourself the way we usually do. Really think about it. I just had a lentil on my lip. Yeah.
Otherwise you leave loopholes open and it gets messy and it was loose.
And we don't want to put something up that isn't like if we can't back it up 100% and feel very confident with it, especially when we're responding to somebody, then we don't want to just put up rubbish on the internet.
Right at the moment, we don't have the time to sit down and make one of those formal response videos. They take a lot of time.
Yeah. So we had loose ideas and everything. I thought, oh, we'll just bounce off each other and make it informal. It didn't work. Yeah. Forget it. So we dumped that idea.
Sometimes it does. Most of the times it doesn't, and that's
that happened. So
changing topic, aren't we?
We're like, just stop and restart this. Changing topic. We're going to
talk about our tagline.
That's right, because a lot of people ask us, what do we mean when we say going vegan isn't the most we can do, it's the least we can do? And so we thought this is a great topic to talk about.
Definitely.
And there are actually 3 segments to our answer.
Yes, and the first of which is obviously
the most literal
interpretation would be, well, you can always, in addition to being vegan, you can then, you know, recycle more, reuse, don't consume as much, live a more minimalist lifestyle.
Ride a bike or commute, you know, by public transport or carpooling instead of driving so much. Just things, you know, that will obviously help the environment, help the world, help other people in different ways. Yeah,
install solar panels.
Yeah, there's so much we can do.
Rainwater tanks, all of those type of things. Zero waste.
Very hard, but yes.
Yeah.
So that's usually what people think that we mean, and we do mean that. There's definitely an aspect to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's not the root, the core of what we're saying is not actually that initial interpretation.
No, the core of what we're saying is the least we can do is not pay others to stab innocent, defenseless baby animals in the throat.
Yeah. That's that simple. That's that simple. Because
no more.
What a lot of people tend to do is they think of veganism as like this big, hard, oh my God, this is the thing that's going to just be the end of the road.
Yeah.
You know, it's the last thing I'm going to get to do because it's so big and huge.
Maybe one day or maybe X number of years into the future, I'll look at it then, I'll tackle it then because it's too big, it's too hard, and it's too lofty or what have you.
And we're trying to pull that back, peg it down to, it's not the biggest, hardest thing. It's actually
not the most you can do.
It's the very least we can do. It's the baseline. We start with, as Lucas said, not stabbing babies in the throat. If we can't kind of get our head around that as a species, then we're in trouble. Yeah. If we think that it's okay to do that, to take somebody's life unnecessarily against their will.
Who wants to live.
Who wants to live. We're going to continue having the problems that we're currently experiencing on this planet.
Yeah. So, another way of saying it is veganism is the moral baseline. You know, we start from there. So therefore it's the least we can do.
It's like, I think it's, you know, because it's linked to so many of the problems that we're experiencing on the planet, especially... especially environmental issues.
I was thinking of Philip Wollen, who calls veganism the Swiss Army knife. Oh, because
that's good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The beginning of a solution to so many of these.
Yeah, you get your army knife and it all spit. That's really good. Very good.
So, you got human health, the health of the environment, obviously the lives of animals,
lives of other people.
Yes.
You know. So. It's like it's the least we can do in our lifetime on this planet is to try and cause the least amount of harm as possible. And the thing we have most control of is what we put on our plate. Because we say this all the time, like there are so many terrible things happening in the world. But what can we do about bombs being dropped on people in Syria?
Realistically, very little
right now.
Very little.
But you can decide who or what is on your plate 3 times a day, every single day, you know? For the majority of people, certainly if you've, you know, have access to the internet and you've got all the information. That's not my hair. I've got my hair up this time.
It's your hair.
Oh no! So that's the bulk of what we're saying.
It's still there.
It's no.
I can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
All right, we're good. We're back.
We should both wear nets or like what are they called? Shower caps. That would be funny. I'm not fun with shower caps. Oh. By the way, just so you think, don't think I'm the only one that molts. I get Luca's eyelashes everywhere. That's right, those long giraffe eyelashes. Look, you get a close up.
That was weird.
That's weird. You can blink them out. So I think that covers the second aspect pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not saying that it's the biggest, hardest, end of the road thing. We're saying it's the beginning. It's the least we can do. So, you know, they say activism is your rent on this planet. Yeah. Being on this planet. And veganism ties into that. And actually...
Which brings us on to the third meaning behind the tagline, is that being vegan is a great first step. It's a huge improvement, on the current status quo.
And I was going to say, if you can't move on to the third thing that we're going to talk about now, then, you know, being vegan is better than not being vegan, obviously. So don't get us wrong.
No.
Having said that.
That's right. Having said that, it is, again, the least we can do. So one of the other things that we can do that would be more than the least would be to, once becoming vegan, be a vegan activist. Now, vegan activists, straight away people are thinking of activism in the traditional sense of activism. That is, you know, the protesting on the street, breaking into a slaughterhouse, rescuing animals. Now, those more traditional forms of activism are still valid by all means. And, you know, we encourage anybody who's interested in that type of activism to pursue it. But activism can be as simple as, and we got this the other day, was it a 15-year-old girl who baked some vegan muffins and took them to her school, advertised them as vegan muffins, and blew everyone's minds away. They couldn't believe that they didn't have eggs or dairy in them and that they tasted so good.
Yes, and then she did some sticker activism too. This was in our last mukbang video, and she said the story that we were talking about could have possibly been her putting stickers on the food in that store. So
you got, you know, baking vegan goods and advertising them as vegan. That's activism. You've got sharing animal rights or vegan related posts on social media. That's activism. I mean, because otherwise, think about it. You're vegan and you're not contributing to the exploitation of animals for, you know, food, clothing, entertainment or any other purpose. Awesome. Now, as soon as you then step that up to sort of advertising that fact, if you like, well, you're actively sharing your vegan lifestyle with the world. You're letting others know about it.
It's all about education.
Yeah, but the point is that you're taking action in some way. The muffins, the social media, the protests,
just raising awareness. Even if it is just wearing, you know, a top with a message, just something that makes people think twice. Like, oh, what does that shirt mean? Or I keep seeing this hashtag vegan. What is it? What is vegan? What do vegans do? Oh, really? Oh, wow. You know, it's just in some way spreading the message, spreading some form of education. And it can be done in a multitude of ways. So that is the next step. And again, we're going to reference actually Philip Wollen, who says, and it was in a interview he did on Joey Carbstrong's channel.
At World Vegan Day Melbourne last year in November, where he said, if I convert everybody who comes and hears my speeches to becoming vegan, I will have failed. And the reason for that is I'm trying to inspire vegan activists, to the creation of vegan activists. So I want this speech to move people not only to
beyond
the point of
just being vegan,
but beyond, being an activist.
And the reason why he emphasizes this, and we do as well, and many other people, is because of the magnitude of the problem. We're talking about over 2,000 animals slaughtered every second of every minute of every day of every year, and it goes on and on for food alone. So this is a huge problem. That's
I mean, like, so in 2 seconds, you've got more people than were killed in 9/11.
It's incredible,
you know? 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So the problem is so big that we need people to be speaking up and adding to the solution more than just what they're eating for themselves. We need to start spreading this very quickly and very intensely to counter you know, what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why.
And also, we're dealing with, you know, critical timelines here. You know, some scientists have predicted that by 2048, so you're looking at, what is it, 30 odd years from now, we may face fishless oceans. Now, fishless oceans are going to affect the ocean ecosystem so much that, you know, the very oxygen that we breathe, it's potentially perilous for us. We are potentially facing the 6th mass extinction in cosmological history. You know, this is what we're dealing with. Hence, vegan is the least we can do.
Yeah, and you know,
and then vegan activism is required to accelerate the change to a vegan world from the current destructive carnist world that we live in.
Yeah, and you know, we've gone down the doom and gloom path again. But again, this is the reality of what's going on. So
that's why it's the third aspect.
Yeah.
As in, we didn't want to start with that.
That's right. And yes, you know, people make all sorts of changes all the time. So some people will start off by, okay, I'm going to reduce meat and then I'm going to drop this and drop that. And it's done in steps and stages. And if you're doing that, then obviously making any changes that you can or choose to is better than not making any changes. So those things are good and they're always supported. But again, because, you know, you've just outlined the timeline, the urgency of it, you know what I'm saying. I'm sure you know what I'm saying, guys. If you're going to take the steps. All right, if that's what you feel you need to do. But we're working to a timeline, so let's take those steps swiftly. Yeah. Like jogging, almost. Could you jog? Jog through the steps? You know what I'm saying. So that's basically just talking through our tagline at the end of each video, why we use it and what it means. So they're the 3 aspects that we have thought of. If you've thought of any others in addition to what we've discussed, leave them in the comments below. We would be enthralled to read. Yes. Now, talking about activism, well, scoot ahead. We've got 3 things you want to talk about. Or you want to talk about this one? Yeah, you could, whichever you prefer. Yeah? All right, we'll talk about this one. We'll do this one quickly. Somebody was asking on the last video, because we mentioned on Luca's t-shirts, we used to write "Go Vegan," and then on the t-shirts that we sell through our store, we have "Be Vegan" instead of "Go Vegan." And you know, someone was asking, why did we make that change? And the reason is the word "go" is like a directive. It's an order, and people are going to be a little potentially put off by that very direct, order-like word. Whereas if you say "be vegan," it's like I've got a choice, to be vegan, as opposed to being told to go vegan. No one likes to be told what to do. So "be" is more liberal and inspiring, if you like. You know, you can be cool, you can be hip, you can be vegan. If you're going to be anything, be kind. Which you know, veganism is kind. So just a psychological thing. About what those 2 words. Exactly. And we first came across the difference between the 2 with the Supreme Master Ching Hai, who has the largest vegan restaurant franchise in the world, Loving Hut. And one of their taglines is "Be vegan, make peace." Because of course peace begins on our plate. And we used to have a big sticker across our the back of our car window. We used to drive around Brisbane with this huge sticker on the car, "Be vegan, make peace." It has a beautiful energy to it, doesn't it? It does, I think so. You know, everything holds an energy to it. And words especially. And to be vegan, I think, is just it's a nice energy to it. Yeah, so. It's like, oh yeah, if I were to choose of my own free will to be vegan, I would be making peace. Like, I wouldn't be paying people to kill other innocent beings anymore. Sounds very logical. You've sold it to me. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so the last thing we wanted to talk about in this mukbang is pretty funny. Oh, we found it funny anyway. So, just on the theme of, you know, the things we've been talking about, we wanted to talk about possibly our worst moment as vegan activists, because it happens to us all. So if you are a vegan activist, and you've experienced something like this, we would love to hear your story. In hindsight, it's funny. When it happens, you're like, oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah, because you do... You refine your style of advocacy or activism, whatever you want to call it, over time, don't you?
Yes, you do.
And we went vegan in August 2011, and this occurred in mid-2012. So we're talking about 12 months into our vegan advocacy journey.
Pretty new, right? Okay, wait, let me set it up.
Still working out, you know, what's the most effective, you know, what resonates with you and others.
He's trying to make himself feel better, and he's building up.
Setting it up.
All right, so... there's a wonderful book called The World Peace Diet by Dr. Will Tuttle, and we loved this book. It was fabulous.
Highly recommend it, with the tagline, Eating for Spiritual Health and Social Harmony.
Yeah, really very good. Looks at it from a very interesting, spiritual, deep level. Fabulous. Anyhow.
As well as the practical.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's a 3-month online training course that you can do to become an accredited World Peace Diet facilitator. And at that stage in our lives, we were definitely, as you said, you know, looking into how can we become the best advocates that we could, the most effective. I'm glad you've stopped the scraping.
Sorry, guys.
And this author in this book got our attention and thought, oh yes, we'd love to learn more about this. So we did the 3-month online training course.
That's how powerful and inspiring the book is.
Yeah, very good. And we grew so much as activists through that experience. Like, you know, we had homework to do each week, and we would play role between each other. Role play between each other, because one of them was, you know, here's a topic. How would you discuss this with somebody, or how would you raise this? How would you answer these questions? So we were doing that between each other quite a bit.
And if I could just interject there and say that one of the most effective tools that we learned just on that was basically you'll listen to what the non-vegan is saying, and then you start off on the right foot. So you say, I understand what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I'm hearing you. I get you.
And I used to think exactly the same.
Because unless you were born vegan, chances are you did too, because we've all been indoctrinated into the same system.
Yep. So I understand, and I used to think exactly the same as you
until I came across this. And then you're going to talk about some kind of education that you came across that relates to, you know, either health, the environment, the ethics. And so you're putting it across like that, and already you've started on the right foot.
Because, and you break down any barriers.
Yeah, because most carnists are going to think, if they say something non-vegan related, that the vegan is immediately going to get their defences up and come on the attack.
And that might be how you feel on the inside. It often is.
Yeah. To be fair, it often is.
But you got to step back and go, okay, what's the best way I can respond to this person and get them on side, and before I push them away with how I really feel inside, you know.
And so, basically, with you are disarming them immediately, because they're not expecting you to agree essentially with what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're thinking like, whoa, hang on a second, I expected you to jump down my throat, and here you are saying, I understand you, I hear you, I agree with you, and then you just, you know.
All right.
Okay.
So, no. So this is the type of tools that we were learning.
Yeah.
And practicing between each other. And as we were playing out these discussions, Luca, you know, it was just between each other. Luca gave the analogy of basically when it comes to dairy. So we, the human species, go over to the cow and we take her milk. We milk her.
Have you mentioned Anne?
No, I'm getting to it.
Oh, you're getting there. Oh, right, okay. Oh, sorry.
You've already finished your play.
I have. It's because we ate so much off recording that other
All right. Anyway, so
video.
And Luca was saying to me, oh, so like in terms of a human woman, it would be like another animal coming over and, you know, grabbing your breast and milking you like a gorilla or something. And I'm like, yes, that's true. But we can't say that, Luca, in real life. So never say that. Fast forward like a couple of days or whatever it was. And at that point, we were living in Ecuador and we were volunteering on an organic farm. And on Saturday, it was farm day, market day, and everyone was coming and purchasing things. And it was a small community, so we all knew each other. And I couldn't... Oh, God. It was bad. I could hear Luca having a discussion with a woman. She was 50 plus, 60.
60, let's go. 60, 65. I put her at 65.
Really? Okay. Yeah. 65. And I could hear them. And it was in my peripheral vision. And I'm thinking, all right, yeah, I could hear what he was saying and talking. And then the conversation started to go towards dairy. I'm like, all right. And then, it was like one of those movies, it was slow motion. I heard gorilla. And I turn and I just see him going like this to the woman. He brought out the gorilla mitts. I'm like, no! Basically what you said was, because I know that you can't remember this.
Like, so obviously we're standing...
You're the woman, okay. I'm Luca.
Yeah.
I'm saying, so taking dairy from a cow would be the same as, you know, a gorilla coming and milking human breasts. With the gorilla hands, you know.
Would you be okay with that?
And she's just like, horrified look and stepping back like, oh my God, is this guy gonna, you know, grope me or what's going on? Oh, not effective.
No.
So there's a general rule, no gorilla hands coming out to milk women. Just
hashtag no gorilla mitts.
But it was hilarious. It was hilarious and we laughed about it.
Yeah.
And she was totally fine. She's a lovely lady, wasn't she?
She was.
She was
probably a little disturbed for 24 hours.
But the funniest thing is because your hands are so big.
Yeah.
Like
they really do resemble gorilla hands. Yeah.
Oh, so they're lessons. And I don't think anything, you know, that bad ever happened again.
No.
Talking to people.
No.
Yeah. So that's our worst activist story.
I'm sure you guys could relate in some way, somehow. Maybe
You'd
you
hope
can't,
so.
but if you can, leave your worst vegan advocacy activism moment in the comments below. Let's give everyone a good laugh and let's help each other not repeat other people's faux pas.
And let's help Luca feel better about himself.
Essentially, that's code for that, isn't it? They're just mistakes like anything else in life, you know. If you don't do anything, you'll never make a mistake, but if you don't do anything and don't make mistakes, you'll never grow. You'll never evolve. So just look at it as like anything else that you make mistakes with in life. The animals would always prefer that you say something rather than nothing.
It's like your gorilla mitts.
Well, she's never going to look at dairy the same way, is she?
She's never going to look at a gorilla the same way.
There you go.
Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us. Leave your comments down below on the things that we've been discussing.
Give the video a like, share it around, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Don't forget to ding the bell and check the box to receive notifications for our upcoming content. And
remember until next time that going vegan, it's not the most we can do.
It's the least we can do. And now you know what that means. Thanks so much for watching. See you next video.
Bye guys.